So I picked up the PS5 Slim a couple of days ago, and after messing around with it for quite some time, I want to share with you guys everything new and some of the things that separate the PS5 Slim from the original PS5 model. You can see here on the box that I picked up the bundle pack with Spider-Man 2, and you can actually choose between Spider-Man 2 or Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, and the price is still $500, which is the same as the older PS5, except in this case we are getting a new game for free, which is pretty cool. Something else you will notice is that the box says 1 terabyte on the side, which means it comes with an extra 175 gigabytes, as the original PS5 only has 825 gigabytes. I'm really happy that we now have a bit more included storage without having to buy any additional storage, and of course if you ever need to add more, you can do so with an M.2 SSD drive, and I will show you how to do that in a little bit. When you unbox everything, you will be able to see a controller, the power cable, an HDMI cable, the USB-C cable for connecting the controller, these plastic feet, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and the game that was included in the bundle, which of course in my case is Spider-Man 2. Taking a closer look at the PS5 Slim, you can tell right away that it's a bit smaller and it feels quite a bit lighter as well. I believe it now weighs 7.25 pounds with the drive, and you can also get the digital version without the drive if you wanted to, which is only 5.75 pounds, and then the original PS5 weighed quite a bit more at 8.25 pounds, which is definitely quite a bit heavier. The overall design is slightly different as well because we now have 4 separate panels with 2 on each side, and the original one only has 1 large panel on each side, so we don't really have any separated panels and is completely flush with the original. And I think the PS5 Slim now looks a little bit more similar to the controller because we have these lines that separate these white panels here, and of course Sony added these lines on the console as well that separates the panels there. I have to say though, even though the PS5 Slim is a bit smaller than the original PS5 compared to my really old Xbox One S, the PS5 Slim is still way bigger, and if we were to compare it to the Xbox Series X, you can still see just how much larger it really is. I've got to be honest, I am still personally a bigger fan of the way Xbox has designed the Series X and even their Series S, and I think it looks quite a bit better than both the old and the new PS5. Of course, I still think it looks fine, and I'm sure many of you will disagree with me on that, but it's just my personal preference, and I think that square design of the Xbox models just look a little bit better and blend in better with their surroundings. Now, the new PS5 has an interesting glossy look with the top 2 panels, and then the bottom panels have a matte finish, which looks alright, but I think Sony would have been better off if they just put the same finish all around. The difference between the glossy and matte panels isn't super noticeable from a distance, but I think it would just look better if they were all the same. Now, the 4 separate panels will definitely allow for more customizable options with different wraps if you're into that, but I know for myself, I'd rather just keep it in its original form because I think it looks alright. Now, the original PS5 obviously only has 2 main panels, so you won't really be able to customize it quite as much as the PS5 Slim. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at these plastic feet though, because they are just not my favorite. They pop into these little holes inside this groove here, and then you can set the PS5 down on its side with the PlayStation buttons on the bottom panel acting as kind of a footrest for the disc drive. I think PlayStation could have designed these feet much better because they look cheap and kind of just out of place. They do get the job done if you want to keep your PlayStation on its side, but I just prefer keeping it upright vertically as it stands perfectly fine this way as well. If you do want to be extra safe, you can buy the vertical stand separately for $30 so that you don't accidentally knock it over, but I think it's honestly just sturdy enough as it is if you wanted to set it down just like I have it here. It's definitely a little disappointing that they didn't include a vertical stand in the box like they did for the original PS5, but at least they gave us these cheap plastic stands, even though I am not a huge fan of them. So what else is new in the PS5 Slim? Besides the smaller and lighter design, a little bit more storage, the plastic stands, nothing within the internals is changed. We still have the same exact processing and graphics, and I guess the main takeaway here is probably just the smaller design, slightly more storage, and a removable disk drive. Taking a look at the ports here, everything is the same exact as they were on the original model, except they are switched around just a little bit. On the front, we now have two USB-C ports, and the original has a USB-C and a Type A on the front. Underneath that, we have the power button in the same place, but the eject button is now on the disk drive because it's removable, versus with the original PS5, the eject button was on the front right next to the power button. On the back of the PS5 Slim, the HDMI port is on the top, and then we have the Ethernet port, two USB Type A ports, and the power plug at the bottom. The original PS5 has these ports switched around a bit, and I'm not sure why they decided to make these changes, but I'm glad we still have the same amount of ports with the PS5 Slim being a little bit smaller. And just so you guys know, there is a digital version of the PS5 Slim coming soon as well that will give you the option to add an optical drive afterwards if you end up needing one, so it's nice that we now have that option. Keep in mind though, it is still cheaper to just buy the PS5 Slim with the disk drive instead of buying it without it, because if you do have to buy one later down the road, it's going to cost you $80. Of course, if you know for sure that you won't ever need an optical drive, then you can save $50 by getting the digital version instead, which should be available soon, but I don't know exactly how soon, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I want to go ahead and show you guys how to add more storage if you have an SSD drive, and how to remove the disk drive as well, because it's super easy and straightforward. All we have to do is pop off both of these panels on the disk drive side of the PS5 Slim. For the top panel, I found that it's easiest just to pull on this upper left corner here, and then we can go ahead and pop it off. And the bottom panel is a little tougher, but we'll start from the right side and pull up again all the way down here until it just pops off. Alright, there we go. And now that we have taken both of these panels off, you can see that we have the disk drive right here and the cover plate that we have to take off if you want to add more storage. All we have to do if you want to remove the disk drive is just lift it out of place, and it will unlatch from this area right here, which almost feels too easy. And as you can see, I already took it off and it just connects right here. In order to add more storage, we'll just grab a screwdriver and unscrew this one screw that we have here, so I'll go ahead and do that. Alright, there we go. And then we'll just take off this cover and you can add additional storage right here. As you can tell, this is really easy to do, and I am glad Sony has made this super user-friendly. Now I know you're probably wondering, okay, is there any reason to buy the PS5 Slim if I already have the original PS5? And in my opinion, there is absolutely no reason to upgrade to the new PS5 Slim, because nothing has been changed except for the look, a slightly smaller and lighter build, a little bit more storage, and a removable drive. Everything else, like the graphics and the processing, is exactly the same, so the overall gaming experience isn't going to be any different. If you don't already have a PS5 though, I do think the new PS5 Slim is a great entry point, as more storage is always good, and right now you can just pick up one of these bundles with either Spider-Man 2 or Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 included for the same price of $4.99. If you guys have any questions at all about the new PS5 Slim, let me know in the comments down below and I will try my best to help you out. Also, if you do want to check out these bundles right now, I will put the links in the description under this video for the best prices. With that being said, thanks so much for watching guys, and I will see you in the next one. Peace!